Hello, welcome to Page and Pint video number 5. I've got 2 books to talk about today, but before that, we've got a beer to try, which I've already poured, which is Dogfish Head 30-minute light IPA. I'm excited about this one. I didn't know it existed until yesterday when I was in the store. It is the session IPA version of 60-minute, which 60-minute IPA is on my Mount Rushmore of craft beer, 100%. I'm trying to think of what else would be on my Mount Rushmore. 60-minute IPA, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, Bell's Two Hearted, and Cigar City High Lie. That would be my Mount Rushmore. Anyway, for this 30-minute IPA, so the way they do the naming is the amount of time is how much time they're continually hopped. So yeah, 30-minute IPA. Session IPAs are my favorite, I almost said genre, my favorite style of beer. So I'm excited about this one. Cheers. It's good. It's got sort of like this grassy, floral hop profile. A little bit watered down tasting, which isn't uncommon for session IPAs. It's not great for that, but to be fair, it's 4% ABV, which is even for a session IPA super light. I think all day is around 5%, 5.2%. I'm gonna guess that, and if I'm right, that's crazy. I don't know why I think it's 5.2. Um, anyway, yeah, great beer. What did I read? First up, Life for Sale by Yukio Mishima. Mishima. I talked about this last time. I was only about 25 to 30% through it. I finished it and I didn't like it. It fell off pretty hard. I liked the first. I like the premise. The premise is cool. Just a quick recap: guy tries to kill himself, is unsuccessful. So then he takes out an ad in the newspaper, life for sale, and sells his life to multiple people. It's sort of episodic where people come to his apartment, attempt to purchase his life, and then they all have weird ideas of what they want to do with it, and that's sort of the story you follow. There were definitely peaks and valleys. One peak for me was there's a story in there about a boy who purchases his life for his mom, who is a widow vampire, who is dying because she's anemic because she needs blood, because since her husband died, she doesn't have, she doesn't have a source of blood. It's weird and fun, but there's no depth to it at all, which is what I was expecting when I went into it, both because of what I've heard about the author and because the premise. I mean, yeah, there's no like takeaway really for me from this book, and there's parts that are extremely boring. There's a whole section about like geopolitics where he gets in with this like secret agency. It's like a spy thriller almost feeling. Wasn't a fan. So yeah, I don't recommend that. I do recommend Lying by Sam Harris. I really enjoyed this one. This is an essay. It's sort of 3 parts. First part is an essay on lying. Second part is an interview Sam does with a professor at his college. He basically heard a lecture about lying that inspired this book, and the interview is with the professor that gave that lecture. And then the third part is reader questions and feedback from Sam put out an early copy and asked for feedback. So the essay itself, just a ton to take away from. I went into it not knowing what to expect because I don't lie very much. I don't consider myself a liar. I'm a pretty honest person. But upon reading it, I realized, oh, I do lie. I lie all the time. White lies or lying by omission or sugarcoating things. And the sort of thesis, my understanding of the thesis is that every lie or the act of lying itself is bad. It's immoral and it's harmful. Which you might take at its face and say like, oh yeah, of course. But then there's all these hypotheticals that Sam throws at you, where you start to question that. Maybe one of the hypotheticals that stuck in my brain is you have a young child who's sick and is not going to make it very much longer, and they ask you how much time they have left. Like there's these intense hypotheticals or Nazi Germany, and you're hiding someone from the Nazis and they knock on your door. Wouldn't that be a moral lie? These are the kinds of like pathways that Sam leads you down. And it was great. There's something to highlight on every page. I loved it. Super insightful. And yeah, it made me the couple days after reading it, every sort of interaction I had, I was hyper aware of my level of honesty. Because you don't really think about it. You know, like at work, someone may say like, "Hey, are you almost done with that?" And it's like, "Yeah, I'll have it done by this afternoon. I'm almost done. I'm wrapping it up." You haven't started it, but you'll still get it done. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It definitely makes you think. It's easily crushable. I think this is less than 100 pages. Well, that's not true. The essay itself is less than 100 pages. So yeah, I recommend it. I think it was a good read. I don't know much about Sam Harris. I know he's a political commentator. I think he's like on the left, but he interacts with people on the right a lot. I don't know. If you don't like him, that's cool too. This isn't political at all, so yeah. I'm still reading Lonesome Dove, which I'm not going to talk much about because I'm only 25% of the way through, and it's going to take me probably until the end of April to finish it. But I am loving it so far. I'm just going to save talking about it until I'm actually done. So that's what I've read. Oh, I'm also reading Free. The title's longer. It's Free colon something, but it's by Amanda Knox. I'm not going to get into the Amanda Knox story, but if you're not familiar with Amanda Knox, she was falsely imprisoned for a murder in somewhere in Europe. I don't remember. This book isn't about that. She already has a book about that. This book is about. I'm only 4 chapters in, but it seems to be more philosophical and about like the idea of freedom and practicing gratitude. The first couple chapters, she's talked about her time in prison and sort of how people perceived her after. Just less about the case itself and more, you know, more about the idea of what it means to be free. I'm listening to the audiobook. She's reading it. She's an incredible narrator. I almost wish she would read other books. It would be a weird career change, but yeah, I'm loving it so far. So I will keep you posted on that. And then that's all I'm reading. That's all I've read. I'm going to try to do an April TBR, which I don't usually do because I'm not good at keeping plans like that. Because I like to finish a book and then just go with whatever I feel like reading next. But for April, along with Lonesome Dove and finishing that, I want to finish these 4. And what we have here is 19 Claws and a Blackbird by the same author as Tender as the Flesh. I don't know anything about it other than it's short stories. I know Tender as the Flesh made me feel disgusting. It was a wild read, made me feel dark, and I think I might want something like this after Lonesome Dove. Definitely short stories and yeah, weird dark stuff. I also got Orbital by Samantha Harvey. This won the Booker Prize in 2024. I don't know anything about it other than I think it's a romance and I think it's set in space. I don't think that's a stretch. I know it was that James was expected to win the Booker Prize, which I read James and loved James. And a lot of people were disappointed that Orbital beat it. And now I want to see why it beat it. And I hope I like it. It's pretty short. I'm trying to get like pepper in some short books after Lonesome Dove because as much as I love Lonesome Dove, It's tough to get through a big book. I mean, it's a thick book. So yeah. Then I got The Great Gatsby, which I read in middle school. I don't remember anything about it. Obviously, it's a classic. I found this really cool copy at I think Goodwill, and I just feel like it's important to reread it. One, because it's a classic, obviously, but also because I got this book called Against the Current, as I remember F. Scott Fitzgerald. And this is by Francis Kroll Ring, who, from my understanding, was his caretaker at the end of his life. And that's sort of what this is about, his last 20 months and the time they spent together. And I guess I think she's like a lifelong friend. I don't think this is his partner or anything. I don't know anything about it other than I found this cool used copy. I saw F. Scott Fitzgerald, and yeah, I wanted to read it. I think this is one of those weird finds where I'm not going to know anything about it, and it's going to have a ton of gems. There's a ton of highlights in here from whoever read it before, which I love that. I like a marked up used book. I don't know. Feels cozy. That's what I got. Yeah, hopefully by mid-April or so, I will be done with Lonesome Dove. I would say next weekend, but there's no way I'm reading the rest of that in a week. I don't think so. That's what I got. If you've watched this far, I appreciate it. Thank you. Cheers.